Some of these calves are really banged up. I see cuts on their heads, bleeding from the horns, bleeding from their back ends. One of them's even bleeding out the nose.
Look, you're flipping cows, you're roping horses' legs. That's not a sport, is it?
Well, is it a sport or is it animal cruelty?
Tonight's CBS 5 investigation takes us into the world of back alley rodeos taking place right here in the valley.
Morgan Lowe spent months using hidden cameras to expose an activity that's illegal but still going on. Now, a word of warning here. Some of these images are pretty tough to watch. Nothing illustrates the American West quite like a rodeo.
It's really the American sport.
Events like bronc riding, half roping, and steer wrestling pack the grandstands, despite some criticism that this amounts to animal cruelty.
We don't mistreat our animals. It is a rough sport, don't get me wrong. But look at our cowboys. It's very, very tough on them, too.
Carl Strussman is the commissioner of the PRCA, the sport's governing body.
See, this is the largest...
which has created rules and regulations meant to make a rough and tough sport safer for its athletes, those with 2 and those with 4 legs. But we found a type of rodeo taking place in South Phoenix neighborhoods with few rules, much less visibility, and fewer animal protections. This is a Shaiiaja, a traditional Mexican rodeo whose popularity may not be mainstream, but it is growing. We used hidden cameras to document Shaiiaja events that raise the eyebrows and turn the stomachs of animal lovers. Events like steer tailing. The goal is to flip a running steer around by its tail. And we saw that sometimes those tails just break off.
Some of these calves are really banged up. I see cuts on their heads, bleeding from the horns, bleeding from their back ends. One of them's even bleeding out the nose.
But that's not the most controversial event we videotaped. This is called Mang Ghana. It's often referred to as horse tripping. The goal is to rope the back legs of a galloping horse. The result is sometimes the horse goes down to the ground. We saw it happen over and over again.
Oh my God.
We showed pictures to former state senator Kyrsten Sinema.
This is horrible.
She led the successful effort to ban horse tripping in Arizona.
This is really horrible.
Because a horse's legs are thin and fragile. Falling down can be life-threatening to the animal.
This is totally illegal.
Many Shaiiajas take place at backyard stables like this one. They're all connected by an organization based in California.
Look, you're flipping cows, you're roping horses' legs. That's not a sport, is it?
As far as a sport, you're not doing it as a sport because we spend many hours practicing and training and perfecting our events.
That voice is Tobias De La Torre, the head of the Charros Federation. He says every event we saw has roots in what takes place on working ranches. And he told us his organization outlawed horse tripping 17 years ago.
In some of these instances, we did see the horses come down to the ground.
If you've ever seen a horse go down in one of our events, I can guarantee you it was accidental.
Accidental or not, Kyrsten Sinema, who was just elected to Congress, says she thinks this may be criminal.
I had no idea this was happening, and what I want to do is call the county attorney, which I will, and ask him to help us investigate this.
To be clear, there are other events at a Shaiiaja that do not involve roping horses' legs or flipping steers by their tails. Horse tripping became illegal in Arizona in 2009. Catherine?
Morgan, thank you for that report.